Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone is operating orderly and having great days. Okay, so you're tuning in because you have an interest on how I build my FPV RC cars. Well, no worries. Come along. I will let you see how I build my newest FPV RC car named Remnant. On this build, it will be starting from the solid frame of the WL Toys 124017 RC car. This build will be another fully customized build similar to Dominion. I'm in no hurry to build this FPV RC car named Remnant. For those who are interested, this build will consist of multiple parts, so there will be multiple videos that are pertaining to this build. All of my background music will be made by Saucy J at Saucy J on YouTube. Go check him out. I've known the young man for a long time. He's my son's producer and friend. Go check him out. Okay, I will begin by installing an aftermarket aluminum motor mount. This particular car, the WL Toys 124017, was originally equipped with a brushed motor, and I will be installing a brushless motor, and this brushless motor will be a larger motor, so it will be a logical idea to change the motor mount to a aluminum motor mount, which is designed for brushless motors. Here's a side note. The 124017 RC car is one of the most least expensive RC cars on the market with an all metal gearing assembly. So before I install the motor mount, I've decided that it is a wise idea to label the frame front to rear. When building any RC car from the frame, it's always good practice to label as much as you can. Now I am applying red thread locker to the motor mount screws. To each his own. This is how I build my RC cars. I usually apply a generous amount of thread locker to any bolts or screws that are attached to any components that are not intended to be removed unless major catastrophe occurs. The slightest bit of movement out of a motor mount can cause major failure to the gears, so I prefer applying heavy thread locker. Keep in mind that this particular build is going to require me to be more creative than the time that I created the FPV RC car named Dominion. That's because due to the size of this build, this is a 1/12 scale RC car and Dominion is a 1/10 scale RC car. And I intend for this build to have 3 batteries supporting the fan, the motor, and the FPV unit. A beautifully installed motor mount. Let's move on. Now I will be mocking up the front and rear control arm assembly in order to figure out what type of customizations and modifications is necessary for the drivetrain and the motor mount to accommodate the brand new, larger, more wider Traxxas Mod 1 gearing that I will be installing. These control arms, hubs, spindles, etc. are a metal replacement to the original plastic control arms, hubs, and bearings that the car was sold with. The answer is no. The metal kit does not come with the control arms, bearings, and hubs assembled. At least my kit didn't, which is fine. You will have a greater understanding in totality the more involved you are in the process of building the RC car. So I connected all the control arm assembly pieces prior to creating this video. Notice how I labeled the control arms. That's good practice, and that will keep every component in order. Now it's time to mock up the drive shaft and the Mod 1 gearing upgrade. So here are the specs for the drivetrain and gearing assembly. The drive shaft will remain the same with modifications. The original semi-metal differential gears are replaced with 100% metal gears, as you see in this video. The original brushed motor will be replaced with the 3670 2500 kV brushless motor. In my hand is a spur gear that was included in the kit as a metal replacement to the original version, which was a 27 tooth plastic spur gear that you see on the left corner of the screen. Neither of these gears will be the choice for my spur gear on this build. I want larger gears. So I opted for the Traxxas 6492 29T pinion gear, which Traxxas uses on the Traxxas X01. That's right, I'm using a Traxxas X01's pinion gear to replace the WL Toys 124017's spur gear. And it's going to work. It's going to work beautifully. However, it's not going to work automatically. It's only going to work because I'm going to make it work. And making it work consists of cutting inside of the brand new aluminum motor mount in the area of the motor mount that is designed to hold the drive shaft, and possibly cutting into the drive shaft as well. I have chosen to use a Traxxas 6494X 20T pinion gear as my pinion gear for this build. An all metal car with an FPV system, fans, and 3 batteries equals more weight, much more weight, which means it's necessary and appropriate for this car to be supplied with much more power. It's only logical that when I increase the power to increase the strength and the size of the gears. The advantage is greater power delivery and less malfunctions in the future. Yes, with all of these modifications, this car will be substantially quicker and go substantially faster. However, when I build an FPV RC car, quicker and faster isn't my primary intention. My primary intention is durability, stability, and performance. Speed is at the bottom of the list for me on an FPV RC car build. I have 25 years of experience in automotive customization, performance tuning, and engine rebuilding, and I apply these same principles to my FPV RC car builds. Whenever I disassemble an automobile's engine, I label nearly everything, because if you don't, you will be at a disadvantage. Those very same principles apply to an RC car, especially when you are building it from the frame up. Okay, now I am making a determination of where I will need to cut in order to make this drive shaft work. It won't sit in the housing properly, in which is the reason why I mocked this up. There's absolutely no way this will work without modifying. I stated that in the beginning. That is the reason for the mock-up. Okay, it looks like in order to get this spur gear to sit in the drive shaft holder portion of the motor mount, I must bore the drive shaft holder and also possibly shave some of the drive shaft. So now I'm marking all the areas that I believe are necessary to be cut with the Sharpie. If my modifications aren't correct and precise, this could possibly result in approximately a 2 more months wait for damaged delivery part replacements from China. Now that that is completed, I can now take the motor and do a mock-up for proper gear mesh. Keep in mind that this is a larger upgraded brushless motor that I decided to swap out to replace the original brushed motor. This is the very same motor that the JLB Cheetah is equipped with, the 3670 2500 kV. And we all know before Dominion was a JLB Cheetah. This motor is significantly powerful and supplies more power than this little small car will ever need. This motor will be wired to a 120 amp hobby wing, which is capable of 4S. The motor is actually capable of 6S. That is not necessary for this build. This car was originally designed to have a maximum battery capacity of 2S. And when I'm done creating this FPV RC car, it will have a maximum battery capacity of 4S. That is extremely powerful for a 1/12 scale RC car. Now I'm using a piece of notebook paper to check the gear mesh. Okay, well, this will do it for part 1 of the FPV RC car build of Remnant. As I stated before, I'm in no rush and accuracy is my prime concern for this build. There will be many videos made of this build, so stay tuned if you're interested. Oh, before I go, Dominion has a new video that is arriving soon at the attempt for the highest top speed ever documented on a FPV RC car. I'll see you on the next one. Peace and blessings.